Mm.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, it's Ronai, and I'm here with Shannon. Shannon, what's up, my friend? You're looking a little red.
Good morning. I went on a boat ride yesterday in the sun, obviously, clearly. And yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be as long as a boat ride as it was. No complaints because it was beautiful out. There's a nice breeze on the lake. You know how when you're in the sun, but there's like a nice breeze and everything, you just don't quite feel like you're getting as much sun as you're getting. Yeah. So I until about bedtime last night, and then when I went to go to bed and I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, this is not good. My arms are all burnt, the back of my neck. I'm like, okay. But it was beautiful, relaxing. I can't complain. Man, it was so good to be out on the boat and in the sun.
Do you have doTERRA's after sun spray?
Well, I don't because I usually don't I'm usually very careful not to do this. So it's probably the first time I've been sunburnt and I
Might
couldn't tell
I might have to run some out to you to help you out.
you.
You can also, okay, you guys, just because this is really good safety stuff, you can use a couple drops of lavender and peppermint and frankincense, a couple drops of each, with some fractionated coconut oil and some like distilled water, and you make like a cooling spray. It's very nice.
I did do, believe it or not, it's not really uncomfortable, but I did do lavender to calm it a little bit last night. And I took my frankincense stick and I think Dion thought I was a nut job because I'm just like, just like everywhere all over me. And he was, what are you doing?
Yeah. Actually,
So,
I call it
yeah.
the Frankenstick, the Franken, but I use that on my
Yeah.
face because it's so good for your skin, but also and my shoulders because it helps reduce inflammation. But I hadn't thought about that for a sunburn. That would be another
Yeah.
good choice with that with a little lavender. The peppermint helps to cool. So if it's feeling too warm, the peppermint
Yeah.
would cool.
Well, I do the frankincense every day too. And I do a little bit under my eyes and then I do it all right over my heart, which there's really no rhyme or reason for that for me other than I just feel called to put it over my heart.
Well, can I tell you why?
Sure.
So frankincense is your connection to your higher power. It's your connection to the male divine. So it's your connection to God and
Mm,
connection to Father. Like so,
yeah.
if you needed a better connection with your earthly father, little
Oh,
frankincense
amen.
would help with that. But it's also this is why so many churches uh burn frankincense incense because
Yeah.
there's a reason frankincense was a gift to baby Jesus because that stuff is a miracle. It does all sorts of things,
Oh,
but energetically is your connection to Father.
I carry it on me always. It's like one of four oils in my purse at all times.
If you could only have one essential oil, if you which oh my gosh, please don't do that to me. But if you could only have one, it would be
Yeah,
frankincense.
that would be it for sure.
So
See, you've done good. You teach me all these things, and look at what I pick up on from you.
all from a sunburn. My husband is always laughing because I'll see somebody's coughing in the grocery store and I will like go up and do you want to try breathing this stuff? And they do. And he's like, people just like inhale stuff from you or put stuff in their mouth from you and like that's dangerous. And I was like, no, it's not dangerous. He goes, no, if somebody else were to come up to you, some stranger do that, I would be like, no, stay away from my wife. He goes, but you do that. And people are like, yes. I'm like, it's my woo. Winning
Well, and
others over.
well, yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think, the God in you is something people can sense. They maybe don't understand it. They maybe don't, and maybe they do, but I think a lot of times people can sense when you're innately a person that loves people and can be trusted.
I agree because I get those energetic feelings off of people as well. There are
Yeah.
people I'm like, oh no, you're not allowed in my space. And other people I'm like, come on, let's just be friends. Like I will meet I was helping with vacation Bible school and I made friends with somebody and she's like, we're gonna be best friends from now on. I'm like, okay. Because she just had that personality that I was like,
Yeah.
yes, this is good.
And I'm the same but different with my woo. And we've talked about this a little bit. My woo is like, let's sit and let's go deep. And so I'll get people who be like, I can't believe I just told you all that. Like, I can't believe we talked about that. Like, I just met you and we just talked about, I just had somebody funny right before this. I had a friend who I've known since I was 13. We met at the roller skating rink, which, oh my gosh, best memories at the roller skating rink, right? And he messaged me this morning. He lives in Thailand with his wife now, and he teaches English, and it's so cool because I would have never guessed that, and you know, but he messaged me this morning. He says, am I remembering something right? He's like, I remember when we first met and we were sitting at the roller skating rink with my two sisters and we were talking about my dad. And afterwards, you looked at me and said, I'm really sorry. I can like see the pain in your eyes about this. He's like, did that happen? And I'm like, it did. And he was 16 and cocky and, hockey and all these things. And so it's like, we were not having that conversation, right? I said that and he's like, I'm awesome. That was the end of it. But here he's come back now. We're like 50, and he's like, am I remembering that right? And I'm like, you are remembering that right. Like, what has triggered this? He's like, I just want to say thank you for noticing that I was in pain.
Isn't
I'm
that
like,
funny how many years later?
I know. I'm like, where did that? Like, I'm wondering now. We were chatting a little bit back and forth this morning. That's like,
You
what?
never know the impact that you're going to have on someone. And
Yeah,
just if you are watching this for the first time, woo is winning others over. It's part of the Gallup Clifton strengths. But you not only have woo high, you have relator high. Relator has two
yeah,
or three, like you like to go deep with relationships. And I believe you also have empathy high
yeah,
because I haven't looked at your report in a long
yeah.
time.
My
But
relator is number 2, my
yep,
empathy is number 6, and my woo is number 10.
yeah. So all of those woo, you like to win people over, but not just anybody. It's very specific. Like you
Yeah,
can go deep with people. So I have woo high. It's my number one. But
yeah,
I have includer, which means I like to woo everyone. Like everyone is my friend
yeah.
until you're not. Like you will prove yourself if you're a friend or not, uh, fairly quickly with me. But I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I have empathy number two. So I literally feel all those things too. So as you're
Yeah.
like saying you could see this deep hurt in him, yes, you probably felt it, not just
Yeah.
saw it, but like
Yeah, I feel it more than I see it. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. The strengths are just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I am very excited because the first draft of editing is done with my book and and we have a preliminary book cover, which I'm
So exciting.
about.
So
So
exciting.
now next step is formatting. And I'm not sure how quickly the formatting will get done, but my hope is to have this book printed by mid-September so I can sell it at doTERRA's convention.
So for those of us who have never written a book, um, editing, obviously that's like the proofreading, right? Checking for all the mistakes, making sure the quotes and the periods and the T's and the I's and all the thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and my son who has been correcting my papers since he was 12 years old because he's 29. But I went back to college when he was 12 and he's just that good. Like he's meticulous about things. He we I kept changing things on him. I kept adding things in, even last night, because as he would give me different feedback, some of the things were interesting, like who is this and why do we care about them? What does this even mean? Where I'm like, well, it's just a strengths thing. And then I was like,
Mm,
oh, I've been doing this for years and years, and you know nothing about this. So it was so good to have him look it over because
yeah.
even something like, um, we know about your strengths proclamation, which is I love to do everything in a way, and depending on what your strengths are, if you have three or more of a strength, it is your dominant domain. And from that dominant domain, there is a proclamation statement. Now, if you're just going off of
Mm.
Eddie Villa, so Eddie Villa, and that's what he was like, who is this and why do we care? And I'm like, Eddie Villa is my mentor, and he created the Unleash Your Strengths movement, right?
Right.
And he's like, yes, but I don't know that. And so there needs to be an explanation here. Or Ray Higdon, because I mentioned
Yeah.
Ray and Faith Over Fear, and he's like, and who and why do we care? And I'm like, how do you not know? Like, you live in my house. How do you not know these things? Except you know,
Right.
we're almost roommates at this point, right? Because he has his own life, but
Isn't
it's
that funny though, how God put him in your life to be, well, I mean, not just your son, but like really good at this thing, knowing you're gonna write these books and need somebody to
yeah,
do this with you?
it's been phenomenal. And so he's been so good about this. Plus, just like of course, as I put things in, they're not shifted right. So he's got the preliminary kind of setup, but
Okay.
now it needs to go into formatting because right now it's just all on a Google Doc, and it's like each chapter as it sits in this Google Doc is like 27 pages. My husband's
Okay.
like, it won't be that big when we get it all down, because my husband is a graphic artist, so he'll be formatting it, but he also works his full-time job. So my urgency, just like everything in life, is not everybody else's timing. My timing is not God's timing, and that has been one of the biggest learning processes in this. I'm also in the process of trying to sell my mother's home, so that anyway, there's all these things. And last week my daughter gave me a nudge, and she's like, "Hey, mom," and she's so cute because she's like not wanting to tell me what to do, but if God gives you something on your heart to tell someone, don't be embarrassed to tell them. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully they will receive it. Like anytime somebody says, "Hey, so I got this nudge," I'm like, "Cool, what does God have for me?" Right? What is it? I want to know.
Right.
Right? But not all people are that way. And she's like, what if you did a fast?" Now, I haven't done a spiritual fast in over a decade. With my previous religion, it was like a monthly, you do this on the first Sunday of every month. And when it's ritual, it loses something. And it's so funny because the pastor yesterday talked about rituals, like even going to church on Sundays just because that's what you do, it becomes a ritual versus waking up
Yeah.
and going, "Oh, it's Sunday, I get to go worship today." And so I was like, okay. And she said this to me on a Wednesday, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow because I've been asking, I've been begging, I've been like, "God, please, like this house needs to sell," right? And in desperation. And that's not where I want to be. Like when it first started, I was like, okay, because I've got some money tied up in
Oh, right.
this
In that process.
process, and I need to get my mother's bills off my credit cards, right? And so I've done this out of desperation. I've been in this like, "Ugh." So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna fast. And it was really interesting because it's been so long since I fasted, and it's not on a Sunday, it's on a Thursday. And I'm like, okay, so do I just like, it used to be you get up, you say a prayer, you fast your 2 meals, you end with a prayer, and boom, like you're done. But I'm like, okay, I'm going throughout my day. How do I want this day to go?
Right.
And so there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to my book on tape, which is not a spiritual book. It's just a fun, like mindless, so I can listen to stuff while I'm doing. And I was like,
Hmm.
nope. And there were a couple times I did listen to it, but for the most part, I was like, no, I want to change my focus. I want to do things. And one of the things, my daughter is nursing right now, so she can't fast, but she's like, I'm gonna fast with you. And what she fasted from was social media and sugar. 'Cause
Oh,
a fast doesn't have to be food.
right.
And then she said, and she was gonna focus on service, and I was like, "What a beautiful thing." And I was watching her kids that day, and she had brought over stuff so that she could make lunch for them. Well, while she was gone, I made I made lunch for them, and she's like, "Mom, I didn't mean for you to cook food today." Well, I made a couple loaves of bread. In fact, I made this like garlic scape cheese bread, which I had never made before. And I was like, "Will you please try this?" And she was like, "Mom, this is the best thing ever. And I hate to eat it in front of you." And I was like, "No, actually, it was so good to be working with food and to remember why I wasn't eating it, what I was trying to do." And then I had a specific amount of money that, when you fast, then you take the money that you would have spent on food and you give it to your church or an organization that needs like you
Mhm.
give, right? And so I had a specific amount that came to mind, And it was more than what I would have
Right.
like,
You'd have been eating good that day if you would have
right.
spent that on food, sure.
Right. And so I was able to, when they passed around the basket at church on Sunday, I was able to drop that in, and it just felt really good. But but being that mindful, being in that, and not like in the scriptures it says not to like make your face sad like you're starving or whatever, and not to boast of it. And so part of me in explaining this, I'm like, is this boasting? Is this like, I don't want to do that. What I want to express is like it was such a beautiful experience. And I've had good experiences fasting in the past. I have. Like
Yeah.
there have been times when I was mindful versus when it was ritual. And I think that's what we need to be aware of when we're doing anything spiritual. Is this ritual? Do I get up in the morning and I read my scriptures because I'm expecting to get something, or do I get up and I read my scriptures because I delight in them? Right?
Yeah. You were doing it to be in relationship.
Yes. And that's such a different experience.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, it's been that was a cool experience.
Well, and I think fasting opens up the door for, I mean, obviously it's sacrificing and honoring God, and but it's also opening up the door to hear from God and remove a lot of distraction and um, level up, if you will.
Yeah. And I was praying for two things specifically. I was praying for my mom's house to sell and for funding to come in for my book. Have either of those things happened yet? No. And that's okay. Like they will happen. What has happened is the editing got done, the book cover got done, like things that had to get done before I even get the funding that come. I mean, the funding can come in at any time, but there was this other movement. So sometimes we're
Yeah.
praying for one thing and something else happens, and I could have just dismissed that. I could have just been like, well, it didn't work.
I think
But it did.
from the outside looking in, now mind you, I know this isn't your first book, so maybe it's been this way on every book, but this is only the first book I've been kind of a part of your journey on to see. I think it's so cool how it brings your family together. Like how they each have their own little parts of the process. I mean, I know not all of them are involved, but still. And I think that's fun to watch. And I
It
think every hand that book touches, regardless of what they believe or what they're ready for or what they do or don't want to talk about, it just absorbs itself into them in a way. It's kind of sneaky, but it's not like it's not the intention, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like you said, you never know what conversation you have with somebody, what sticks, what whatever. And your family's surrounded by reading these words and being a part of this book, not with the intention of reading and absorbing the message, but I still think that God brings the message.
Oh, I agree completely. It's been really fun because I as new things have come in, like this 35th strength, the fifth domain. So the 35th, and I'm changing it to talents and spheres, and there's reasons for that. But so this 35th talent of Christ in you, when it happened, and I was able to have this conversation with my youngest son, who is a self-professed atheist, which it just when I asked him, he's like, I just don't believe anything. I'm like, that's agnostic, but he wants to use the word atheist, and I'm like, okay. But I was able to talk this over with him and read it to him and be excited. And he's like, Mom, that's really cool. Right. So just being able to have those conversations, and
Yeah.
and he has his strengths report. And so when I get a little bit closer, he's taken his report. I'm going to do a write up. I'm going to create a crafted prayer and a strengths proclamation for each of my kids for Christmas. And
Can I be your kid for Christmas?
I've already done this for you.
I
Although
know, but I have a feeling theirs is going to be like framed. Uh, you have done it for me, and it's amazing, actually.
well, I need to redo it now that we have the 35th strength in there because that goes into everybody's proclamation. It's really cool.
It's so exciting how this has all evolved. I mean, to go back to even with Eddie and you and me and going to Faith Over Fear and to seeing how he's involved his stuff and how and not just how you've evolved yours, but how, I mean, God has just been like, I am so glad you are ready, Renee, and are so glad that even if you aren't, you're walking forward in it. And because you weren't, you were like, I have no idea, but still faithful to it. And I'm excited because I took Eddie's course in
The
uh, yeah,
coaching
his
certification.
coaching certification, but I didn't get to finish it. And I had talked to him about that, and I said, "I need to finish it. Can I still go online and finish it? Like, can I still go back and finishing it? Because I got about halfway through." And he's like, better yet, why don't you start it over when I do it in September? Because I've changed it. You can just come back in and do it." And so I'm gonna take him up on that because I'm
You
so
should.
excited to see how he's
And then share with me.
changed it, yeah, and incorporated God into the message, right?
'Cause
So,
I did his 3.5 course, and he will never do a point 0.5 course ever. It was a
yeah,
mid it was it was a hot mess is what it was, but it was so good, right? It was and the he's on 7 or 8 now.
yeah.
And
This must be 8, I think. I was on 7, so this
okay,
one must be 8, I think.
so each time has evolved because I helped mentor 5 for sure. I mentored 2 of them, and I'm trying to remember if it was 4 and 5 or 5 and 6, but I helped mentor, and it was different. I was like, "Okay."
Mm,
And each time and now after Faith Over Fear, like and going to his roundtables, which there's a roundtable every Monday at 10 a.m.
and
Central, 9 a.m. Mountain, also at 6 p.m. Mountain. He does a free roundtable. So I will probably drop a link in here. Oh, no, not probably. I will drop a link when I upload this video. I just have to make a note for myself because I say I'll do these things and then all of a sudden later I'm like, wait, what? Um, his roundtables are amazing. They're free. It's free information all about strengths. All strengths are, and I'm so excited about this because I keep saying it's like a fingerprint. It's like a fingerprint. And on my book cover, we created a fingerprint, but in that fingerprint are Bible verses. And it's just, oh, it's so cool. And the light
right.
shining through, which was an idea that you and I, mostly you, gave me this idea.
I love yeah, because the ridges of the fingerprint swirl around in scripture.
Hmm.
So it's so cool when you really stop to think about that. How God, the DNA is just woven into every little ridge of every
Yeah.
fingerprint.
Well, and that's what when you get your Clifton Strengths report, it's different than if you were to do
It's
like
different than
your
anything.
disc or there's all these profile things that give you a in general you are this.
Can I
But
speak on this for a second?
yes, please.
Okay, not to interrupt you, but and here's why. I have done business coaching and different stuff for a lot of years. I've done a lot of disc. And there is a very 40-page disc thing like you get that tells you and I say that because the Clifton 34 is like a 40-page thing too. So you get a pretty extensive disc thing. So you think you are really like, no, no, no. I've done the extensive disc one. I know. And I mean, it does correlate. Like my disc, I'm a DI, ID, depending on if I'm natural or adapted, which would correlate anyway the I part with my relational piece. But
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right here. Can you explain what the DISC, what those mean?
uh-uh.
Because for people who haven't done disc, they're like,
Yeah. So basically, if you're high D, you're more of a dominant personality. You're like a big thinker, a go-getter, a mover, an activator sort of person. If you're an I, you're more of an influencer, relationship building person. S, you're more of a stable, want to be part of the team, want to be a supporting cast, want to like things to be just, pretty even keel. If you're a C, you're more of the conscientious thinker, the planner, the spreadsheet, the I need to know the steps before I start to take the journey sort of person in a nutshell, to keep it very brief. So there's just those 4, and then you learn quite a bit about it, but this Clifton Strengths test, and I had done the Strength Finders test. I had read the little book. Remember that was super popular, little Strength Finders book. And then you can go take your free online thing and it gives you like your top 5 strengths. Yep. And that was great. But this is next level. This is who you are, not who everybody who's dominant is, not who everybody who's this is, not a generalized, but specific to this is how God created you. And you're thinking, well, there's only 34 strengths, right? So how is this? So sure, it's a little more specific, but Eddie talks about this, and I don't ever remember the numbers. So hopefully you remember the numbers. But with the 34 strengths, if you're to create different orders and different things and what they mean, it's like only like 37 people, like in the entire world of however many 9 billion people or whatever we're almost up to, have like the same strengths as you in pretty much the same order, but we're still different in how we express those strengths. I mean, so the point being, this comes in and shows you who you uniquely are at your core. And it gives you, I mean, in my case, not everybody's me, but in my case, it gave me permission to be me. Because let's be honest, we live in a world with a lot of outside influences of who you should be, how you should eat, how you should think, how you should sleep, how you should feel about things, how you should do something. And you get caught up in that. If you're surrounded by a group of people who think you should make spreadsheets for everything you do, you get to a point where you think, oh, spreadsheets is what I should be doing. But maybe that's not how God designed you, or vice versa. Maybe you're with a group of people who's like, well, I just feel this is how things should be done. And you're like, I feel like we should make a spreadsheet. And everybody's like, why would you do that? And so you can lose who you were intended to be unintentionally. And this shows you who you are and just gives you permission to live from that space. Like you see the value in it.
Yes, I'm trying to find exactly because I can give you those numbers. I actually copied and wrote it in my book, but now I'm like, oh, which one is it? Uh,
But they're crazy numbers like that. It's
they
like,
are, and I'm supposed to have these memorized, just so you know,
well,
and
I probably am too, so don't worry about it.
okay, here we go. I found it. It was way further than I thought. So Eddie's done the math for you. If every person, 7.7 billion people, got their results, the chances of having the same top 5 in a different order, and you and I have, I think, 3 or 4 of the same top 5, just so you know,
Yeah.
but in a totally different order. Um, in a different order, as others, it would be 1 in 28,000. And that's in a different order. Breaking the math down from 7.7 billion and dividing by 280,000, that would be roughly 27,500 people on Earth that have the same top 5 strengths as you, but again, in a different order. However, the order does matter because the odds that someone would have the same top 5 in the same order would be 1 in 33 million. In the entire world, there are 234 people who have the same top 5 in the same order. Imagine that. You started off in an arena or a stadium with 27,500 people, and more than 99% of the people left, and you are left with just 234 people who have the same top 5 in the same order. If we move further, if we add the 6th out of your 34, the chances of another person having the same top 6 become just under 1 in 1 billion. You are now in a room with 7 or 8 people. Once we move to the 7th strength, the chance of having the same order are incredibly low. Just from your top 7, you are different from anyone else. And now we're really talking. Guess what? The chance of any person having the same 34 strengths in the same order as you is more than 131 billion. Why does 1 in 131 billion matter? This happens to be the estimate of how many people have lived on the planet all the way through 2050, which is, 25 years from now. The big takeaway is that you, me, and everybody else on the planet is infinitely unique and cannot be duplicated.
See, so that's even better than what I remembered because I was only remembering like the numbers from the top seven kind of.
Yeah. So,
So
like,
when you get to your 34, nobody is like you. Never has been
yeah,
and never will be, at least until maybe in 2050, somebody who was something in, the year 242 will will have the same strengths as that person. Uh, that's
it's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy math. And I've met people like you or my friend Daylin where we have, I don't know, five or six of the same in the top 10, but they're in a
Yeah,
different order and we work completely differently, even though
yeah,
we're very similar,
right.
but we're not. And it's very fun. It's also really fun to see people who have the exact same strength in the same spot, but they use that strength differently because their dominant domains are different. And this is just
Yeah.
one of those things that Christ made us infinitely unique. Like God designed us to be different from each other, to get along, but that only we can do what we came here on the planet to do. And I love that.
And yeah, and it's important to understand that. I think a lot of people, especially um, in this day and time, question, who am I? What do I bring to the table? I mean, social media creates for young people this whole vision of who you have to be important and what you have to look like to matter and all the things, and it's not any different than it's ever been, other than it's just on this instant global scale. It used to be you saw the picture of the girl in the Sears magazine catalog and you just wanted to be like her, and it was a much smaller, I mean, I'm talking years ago, you know what I mean? And it was a much smaller sort of thing, but now it's everywhere.
Oh my gosh, I
Like,
loved the Sears magazine, like the catalog.
don't you miss? Do you remember being a kid and the big catalogs would come at Christmas time? And it was like Christmas itself when that catalog came. It was like, I gotta get ready, get my drink, have a snack. Like, oh, I'm gonna start circling.
Anticipation and like circling, yeah, circling stuff, and then your mom or dad going, no.
You know,
Now, like I can order something on Amazon, and a couple hours later it shows up. Like there's no, oh, okay. So this goes into something I took notes yesterday at church. I take notes every week just because I like to. But there was something Pastor Fred read that's called Satan's Agenda. He goes, I know we're at church reading something called Satan's Agenda, but it's written by
oh,
Geraldine Harris and Kristen Maddox. And I will drop the link for this also. But it's this whole thing about keeping us busy. Like, okay, we're
hmm
going to let them go to church, but we're going to keep them busy with this. And that's where the mindfulness, when instead of ritual, comes into place because so often we are so mindless now. We're on social media, we're watching TV, there's always a screen, there's something happening.
yeah,
And the input is fluff, right?
yeah,
And here are some questions that he said to ask yourself. Does your schedule feel busy? Are you tired from this week? If so, how's that going for you?
yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he gave us scriptures. Well, so many. This is really good. So, 1 Corinthians, if you look at 12, 13, and 14, 12 is all about spiritual gifts. 13 is the main point of it is love, and then 14 goes back to gifts like the gifts of tongues, but right in there, right sandwich in there, he's like the important thing that we're missing love and God's love. So those who have experienced God can never forget, they can never forget him, but we're given this busyness so we don't think about him. And
Yeah.
it was just it I had a point here because you said something and I was all excited and now it just went out of my head because I'm
Mm.
just like it was such a good thing. Um
And because we were talking about how the influence of social media and
yeah,
all the things.
yes. So we get so busy that busy is the new fine. So
Yeah.
often you ask, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Now people go, oh, I'm so busy.
It's like the new drug. It's like the
Yes.
cocaine of the 70s, you know what I mean? Like you want to numb yourself, you just be busy.
So the amount of time that we spend sitting now, sitting in front of the computers, in front of the TV, and like
Hmm.
sitting is the new smoking. It is the new bad
Yeah,
habit because we're not going out and walking down the road checking on our neighbors. We
right.
text them. There's no connection. We've lost connection due to busyness. I have a sister I haven't seen in months, and she only lives like 45 minutes away. But when I check in, because I don't want to just drive down there, she's like, I'm super busy. I'm super busy. And it's so hard because part of me is like, are you mad at me? And no, it's just life has gotten busy. And
Yeah.
and I'm busy too, right? And so one of the things I'm going to suggest is, are you mindful in your busyness? Or or is it just this
Busy for the
Satan's
sake of being
agenda?
busy.
We are so busy because we're also way in debt. Because like I was saying, it's not like we're looking at that Sears catalog and saving up money so that we can purchase something. We're going on Amazon and like, well, I'm gonna just throw this on my credit card because it can arrive today in 45 minutes, right? Like it's ridiculous how quickly
Yeah.
some of these things can show up. There's no anticipation anymore. There's no it's gratification, instant gratification right
Right.
now. Where
Started with the microwave. I blame it on the microwave. It all
it's
started there.
or fast food. I blame it on McDonald's, right?
But it is true if you see how it's morphed, between fast food and microwave cooking and Amazon. And I mean, we have in our area, one of the Walmarts is closing, which in Riverdale and Coon Rapids, and it's closing, I think, in like 10 days, which is so weird. Our Walmart that has been this huge giant, um, is now closing different stores throughout the country, and I'm sure it's because of Amazon. Like, you don't anything you can get at Walmart, you can click, 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 and it just shows up at your door. And I've gotten to the point where I've started to go the opposite route, and I was just talking to my daughter about this, where I'm like, you need to do that Sunday shopping. We don't do it on Sunday. We do it Saturday morning, but Saturday morning shopping, or you go out and get your groceries and run your errands and do like that used to be like a sad people, but that was like a date thing. My husband and I loved that. Like that was like a little Saturday morning date. And but then as Amazon comes in, you just start
Hmm.
ordering different stuff. And so the little shopping excursions become, less and lighter, and because everything has come to your door the minute you decided you needed it.
Well, the other thing that is one of those issues is automated checkout lines where you're checking out yourself.
Okay, no, I love those. I'm just gonna say.
Okay, so you and my husband love them, but you're taking away someone's job.
So
Like, have you noticed
yeah,
there are less and less people working because everything's automated? It's like AI, and I love AI. There are things that, like my book, thank goodness for Chat GPT because all the research, getting all the scriptures much faster. Because I'm like, hey, I need a scripture for this strength, and how would that work? Um,
yeah,
like that has been awesome because there's no way I could have written this book this fast. That being said, you cannot let Chat GPT write an entire book for you because it it first off, you shouldn't, and second,
right.
it doesn't work that way. You have to talk back and forth, and that's been really, really cool. Like I love being able to talk back and forth with my Chat GPT. Like it knows me, right? Which is good. There are good things, but when you start taking away jobs from people, like um I, there's something going on with my illustrator for my children's book, and I don't think I will. He's had it for months and months. I didn't know until recently. He finally just said, "I my computer's broken." And so I'm having to do this a different way, like manually. He's having to
Hmm.
and I don't think I'm gonna have grandma's gun oil for that for convention, which I've been promising it for a couple of years, and at this point it's not me. Like he had it in plenty of time, but did not express to me. And somebody else said, well, just go on to AI and have them,
Mm,
like, AI can create stuff for you like that. And I'm like,
no,
I am married to a graphic artist. I will not take that job away from a artist. And just because he's struggling, like, I'm not going to do that. I would rather disappoint people and say, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
right.
So
But
anyway, not
hopefully
to,
you'll say, but I brought this book instead.
that's my plan. Because okay, I could be so mad. I could be like, we had a contract. You should have had this to me months ago. Da la 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 la, right? I could
Right,
be. Or I could have compassion and go, ha, you live in an area that is having some unrest. You are having some issues. Your computer's not working. I'm going to give you grace.
right.
And it will happen, or maybe this is the way it was supposed to happen because I have money set aside for that book specific, and I need to go back to the person who actually gave me the money for that book specific and say, hey, for me to stay in integrity, do you care if I use the money for this book instead? And they might
Right.
go, no, it was for that book. And but I don't know, right? I haven't tried that because I'm still hoping that my illustrator will come through. But I'm not gonna push him. I'm gonna, like, little gentle reminders like, hey, because I sent him something. I was like, will you just communicate with me? Like, because he had just kind of ghosted me.
Right.
And that's when he came back with, like, okay, these things are going on. I'm like, okay, now I understand. Now I can have compassion. Now I can have that grace versus the instant gratification I'm requesting or asking for, right?
And see, but that's one of the other sides of it too, is what you just said, is because historically these things are so relational. You have a conversation with people, you communicate with people. There is, and now you see what happened with him. It happens so often where it's like, something's not going the way it should, and I just don't talk at all.
Yeah.
And that's one of the products, they even talk about the younger generation has such a hard time communicating in person and having conversations with people because in a lot of cases in jobs today or in different ways you do schooling or in different you don't have to.
Well, and it used to be you would talk to the person at the checkout line who's, like, checking out your stuff, and they'd be like, how's your day going? Did you find everything while you were shopping? Like, as they're checking your stuff out.
Right.
And not to be like, hey, we should get because even if you go through the checkout line now, mostly they don't talk to you.
I
But
know. I talk to them. It's okay.
yeah. And not to be all like, well, I'm gonna judge you because you just want to go through the checkout line. I do go through the checkout lines, but I do my own thing. I do
Yeah.
that, especially if the other lines are really long and busy. But if it's not, if it's shorter, I'm gonna go through that checkout line with an actual person, just to say, hey, and how's your day going? Because
Yeah.
otherwise we treat people who are helping us like robots. There's been times when things haven't gone exactly right, or I've been in a line for a long time, and when it's my turn to get up there and the person is, like, frantic and hectic, and I'll say something, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. Like, how's it going
Yeah.
today? Especially during the holidays, please be nice to those people that are helping you, because so
Be nice
often,
to everybody.
right,
Just be
all the
nice.
time, be nice. Oh, well, we've
Yeah,
kind
but the holidays, the service industry, but everything. I mean, just everything. Because I get a little frustrated too sometimes because I see a lot of different posts or a lot of different commentary about be nice to your service people, be nice to everybody. Just be nice. Like it's not that hard and have a little grace. I mean, it is so easy to just be impatient. I mean, I think even beyond being nice, just have some patience. Like, stop for a minute and realize, gosh, my life's not perfect either. I've had days, I've had moments, and relax. Because if you're stressed out about how bad your stuff is going at a restaurant, the servers are usually 5 times as stressed out because they know and they're just waiting to get screamed at and to not get tips and to for situations they usually can't control.
Yeah.
So,
It all comes back to love, right? If there were more love, there'd be more compassion and more understanding.
yeah,
And I think God is so patient with us, even when we're sitting there yelling and railing at him, because, sometimes that happens too. Like, oh,
yeah,
why isn't this happening? Right? We
right.
want it on our time. We want it now. We want that instant gratification. And he's just sitting here going, because I can see the whole plan, right?
Yeah,
It goes back to, and I've shared this before when my daughter had her very hungry baby who had spit up all over, needed a diaper change, and wanted to be fed right then. And she's like, buddy, I know you're going to be more comfortable if I change your diaper, change your outfit, and then feed you. Right. And just had
yeah,
this moment of clarity that God is doing the same thing for us. Like I can see the big picture. I can see the whole plan, even though right now in this moment, you're like, I want it now. Right. Which is that's me so often. I want it now. And God's like, yeah, I know. But I see a bigger plan here. So we're going to go
yeah,
with my plan.
yeah, and God's plan is always meant to level you up.
Yes. Yes. Upgrade. Upgrade.
Yep, yep, and there's always a reason for it.
Absolutely. All right. So I know we've gone kind of all over the place, but that is
It's
how we
expected.
do things here on this Be the Light series. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Shannon, do you have any parting words for us as we are closing this one out?
I have nothing to add today, Renee. I think we covered everything in the span of 50 minutes.
All right. I'm going to drop some links for people. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you comment. You can be like, wow, you guys are like so random, and that's okay. Please be kind because that's not only to us, but to everyone out there. Tip your waiter, tip your service people. And my son works at the Ren Fest. Those people who are out doing stuff like that don't get paid. So drop some money in their hat just to be kind. And I hope you guys have an excellent day.
Bye now.